All right, man, we're live. We're going to go deep here. I'm here with Joel Jaimes. Want to prepare you guys ahead of time. We have not prepared pretty much anything for this. We're going to do this all on the fly. We're hoping that as people join on here, we're going to get some live conversations going, kind of take this where you guys want to go as well and answer some curiosities. But this is going to be a flowing conversation, more mastermind style. So if you guys were looking for something pretty and touched up and super ready to go, slide whatever, maybe go to the next video. But if you're looking for something that's kind of casual and fun and doing this on the fly, that's going to be this right here. Let me stop that screen share for now. Joel, what's going on, man?
Not much. Start here, in the office, putting in the hours, putting in the dials, keeping my activities going, because we got to keep that pipeline going. Even though things have kind of slowed down a little bit, we still have to do those activities to keep that from being a roller coaster going up and down and keeping a steady book of business.
I love that, man, because I think you've seen it. I've seen it too. Agents are starting to struggle a little bit, and it's just truth, right? We shifted from a very easy industry where buyers were knocking down the door, listings sold on day 3. Now we're going to where we've got seller objections. Why is my home not selling? We've got buyers who are questioning interest rates, questioning prices, and different games. So yeah, man, I like what you touched on there. What are the things you're finding some success with?
Making dials, still making phone calls. That's really the number one thing. I'm one of them. I'm a typical agent, terrified of making calls and rejection. But you put it in a really great, touch it in a really great way that they're not saying no to you. They don't even know who you are. Quick story. I had called a lead a few days ago and literally just cursed me out. And I called him right back and I asked him, hey, I didn't say, hey, you don't know who I am or anything like that. But I was like, are you having a bad day? Is there something wrong? I'm really concerned here, just the way because you reacted. And wasn't able to turn him over. But then, it made me realize he answered the phone and was having a bad day and just said whatever was on his mind at the time. And, didn't even get my name out. Doesn't know who I am. So, yeah, I mean, just call reluctance and stuff is a real thing. But just at the end of the day, it's not you they're saying no to. They don't even know who you are.
And it's funny to me. So like you go right to like your struggle with it, right? Like with the reluctance and going into it. But what you kind of think is automatic, and I think a lot of people should understand this, is it's the relationship, right? Like it's if you're calling for a means to an end of where you're going to sell a house, you're just not going to last long in this business, right? But if you're calling to build a relationship with somebody that can last beyond a transaction or even without a transaction, I'm going to say, did you see the review that we got earlier? I don't know if you get notified for those or not.
No, I didn't see was that on Google?
Yeah. So I had a conversation with a gal who has some credit issues, and she's working through those, and she really wants to buy the house that she's renting. And, just from having the conversation with nothing there for me to do, but something she didn't know that she could ask about is owner financing with a balloon, right? Like you got time to fix your credit. Speak to them, see if the owner finances to you with a balloon. It's your risk, right? And is that something they're willing to do to give you enough time to work it through? So like she was so happy with it at the end, and she's like, if I can do anything for you guys, just let me know. And I'm like, well, actually, would you mind leaving me a quick review about what this conversation has been about? There's not much for me to do in terms of being involved in this, but this is my cell phone. You can text or call me anytime. If there's something I can help you with, I'm here. And as I'm calling through, same as what you said with that person, right? So we got lots of people that are unhappy and upset just in this world, not real estate related, not anything. And I think for anybody's watching this, whether you're looking to buy a house, whether you're in real estate or you're not, if we can wake up and we can really look around, walking through Publix, walking through Walmart, as we meet new people and uplift them and help to change their mindset, have positive conversations instead of endorsing the fear and the negativity, that's where it's at, man. That's really where it's at.
Yeah, and that's what that's what our team is based around. And there's a lot of good realtors that are as well. We're not transactional based. We're relationship based. So what that means is that we're going to build that relationship, whether it becomes a sale or not. Whether we help you buy, sell, whatever, it doesn't, whether we help you find a lender that's going to give you a better option to refinance, get some cash money out of your equity, to help you along the way. Like I said, make suggestions. Owner financing. We don't have to have a sale right now. We don't have to ever have a sale. We just have to care about people and really just provide value to them and help them out in any way. And that's just, coming from the heart.
Yeah. I just think it's funny that you overlooked that, because I know that's where you go and you kind of go to the struggle. So I was laughing a little bit at myself, but yeah, let's go into the context, right? So, deep dive, I listed some of the questions, but what are some of the, whether it's questions or objections, like what are people scared of right now that you're seeing?
So people are really scared with interest rates. And this is kind of, and the other thing was, the things that people are really scared of are, if there's going to crash coming on. So that kind of was the worry, 2020 or 2020, 2021. Now it's 2022. We're still not happening. Then we're going to 2023. And that's kind of where this little mastermind kind of came about, was like, let's look at the data. Let's look at the hard points as what the market has done over the last year and where we might think it's headed.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the two main issues: is interest rates and the an eventual downshift in the market.
So let's go. Let me close this out. Close this. Leave that open. Close this. Let's start there, man. I think giving people an idea of what started the rise in inventory would be kind of cool. So I'm gonna play with this live right here with everybody. Share screen. Let's go over here. Guys, if you're joining in, I broke this down in the beginning of the video. This is very casual, not like we're doing this on the fly. Like we're doing this live. We'd love engagement. If you guys have questions, you want to say hi, drop them here in the comments. We'll bring your comments right here on the video and see what we can do to get those questions answered. But the first thing I'm going to show y'all is something that if you're ever worried or wondering, like, how do I know what I can afford? Like, if I'm looking at a $250,000 house, what does that mean? This is a good resource right here. And there's no like calls to action that are like outright. I'm sure there's some advertisement somewhere on here, but pretty easy. This is one I go to play with. So I'm going to start with our average price point is around 300,000. I'm going to go FHA 3.5% down. That is about right for today's interest rate. 30 years, 2,400. PMI is good. Homeowners insurance might be a little low, but we'll keep it the same for both. So let me do this though. I want to start with where we were, right? So let's start with 3.25 just to give us a reference, and we'll go back to 6.7. Right. Calculate. All right. So a $300,000 house, pity. Everything involved, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Somebody was able to afford a $300,000 house for $1,600 a month. You and I know you're lucky if you can get a rental for $1,600 a month right now, but they could buy a $300,000 house just, what was that, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, somewhere in there. So this is what they were looking at. So we're going to do two things now. So like now let's change it to the current interest rate. So 1660 is where we're at right here. Now we're going to change this over to 6.7. Calculate that. So now that same payment's 2,270, right? So we went up, what is that, $600? That's not pushing everybody out, right? So I want to make it super clear here. So Joel, what do you think to get to $1,600 a month that this number is going to have to be right now?
Which number, the purchase price?
Yeah.
Value of the home? I think right now probably about 220.
Let's see. Still high.
Let's go to 200.
It doesn't matter what you can be a 5 and 8 ball, a 7 and 9 ball.
Pretty close, right? The same payment, you've lost $100,000 in purchase power.
I see why people are scared, right?
That's wild, right? Like, and imagine, so we had a ton of these, pipeline got destroyed through all this. Like, people were maybe taking a little longer than they should, dragging their feet, whatever it was. And they were looking at $300,000 houses. Well, they wake up today and they can only afford a $200,000 house. And anybody who watches this video knows the difference between $100,000 in housing. Like you're talking about maybe not a pool, maybe not a bedroom for the kids, definitely, might lose granite or, good flooring, upgrades, things like that. So
I think a little bit of land, might have to take a little less land.
Anything inside of here that you want to play with? I think it's a good context to show people like, hey, what's happened here is our buyer pool has gotten smaller because we're not even talking about median income and how that lines up with these numbers, but it's our average price point is out of reach for most people. $300,000, which is actually a low average price point, is too much at $2,300 a month for most people to afford. Like that's a lot of money. But is there anywhere else you want me to take this or go with this?
So one of the things I always kind of point out is a lot of clients or people that come on that we speak with, they'll see on Zillow, they'll see the estimates, and the payments much lower. So what you have to consider is that's with relatively close to a perfect credit score. That's with 20% down, so you don't have PMI in there. So really, we're showing you what really the numbers we're really closer to, or where it should be at. That's just something I always want to point out because there's so many times I get like, oh, Zillow says I can get it for $1,600. No, not really.
I'm going to drop this link in the comments too, in case anybody's following along here. This is something anybody in the world can do. Not a lot of these things are already filled out, so you can look at what the value of the home is, kind of get an idea there. But this sets the table for us, right? Like, buyer demand got smashed. Definitely quieted down your upper price brackets because those people don't want to borrow money at 7% when they just 6 months ago were borrowing money for 2.75, 3%. So just want to set the table there, right? So we're seeing inventory come back, less buyer demand, properties are sitting on the market a little longer. Now, the other side of this, where we're going to kind of probably go on a million tangents, is what does that mean for appreciation, right? Like, is the market going to crash? Is the value of my home going down? Like, same questions we've been having.
Yep.
Let's start with this probably. So, this is the only graphic that we prepared for this whole thing. But it's got a lot packed into it. So Focus First is a great data analyst tool for real estate agents. And it breaks down what we've been doing. So everyone knows the crash and what happened with 08, right? So that's what's happening here where, our appreciation's going down. But from 2012 until now, we've appreciated pretty tremendously.
275%.
Yeah. Pretty sick there. Especially these last 2 years. This is maybe it happens again in the future, like it happened back here in 04 and 05, but like we're not going to see this for a long time. We're not going to see that kind of appreciation. So question of the hour is, what's the crystal ball saying, right? Like, we don't know what happens next. We can look at the data in real time the best we can, but we look here in the last 4 quarters, 21 quarter, fourth quarter, 5.49% appreciation. First quarter of 22, 8.6. Second quarter, 6.2. Third quarter, 1.76. And we don't have this data for the fourth quarter because we're not done.
Right.
But, what are you pulling away from this, Joel?
So definitely there's a slowdown. So around this time of the year, there's a little bit of a slowdown anyways. Going into the holidays, not as many people are looking. So it kind of houses it a little bit longer. There's a little bit more choice. So, but it's kind of natural going into the fourth quarter, but it is a lot less than we have seen over the last about a year ago. But all the trends are still showing that it's still going up. So I haven't seen anything negative yet. And we don't have a crystal ball. So we're not exactly sure. We just read the data. But to this point, houses are still appreciating. You're still buying a house for more than you were today than you were last month, 3 months ago, 6 months ago.
That's the one piece that we can probably bring it clear with some data from the other side. Yeah, let's attack that first. Like, let's go into what's happening here and just see what's happening in real time. So this is our, MLS on the back end. Everybody's looking here, and I'm going to go into some light data here. So
Stellar crashed this morning, so we didn't have access to it until recently, and we had looked at this before but didn't save it. So this is kind of where we're at.
All right, we're gonna get kind of specific here. So let's do Hernando County. We'll do under an acre, single family, not waterfront. Try to avoid some of these outliers. Right, and currently 655 active, which I don't think active is going to give us the data that we really want. It's like a pending and sold. Let's go to the last 30 days. Let's see what we get here. Anything else you think I should add here, Joel?
If we're trying to keep it to kind of like the average consumer, I think 3 or 4 bedrooms and kind of cap it at a certain price point. Once you get over that price point, it's just kind of a different market.
I don't think with what we have here, I don't think we're going to run into, well, I guess we could because we've got square footage amounts. So you want to just keep, I don't want to mess with the price point because there's going to be those outliers that do affect the data. What do you think? Keep this under 2,500 square feet?
I'd say under 3,000 or 25.
3,000 a little high. Like let's do 25.
Let's keep it at 25.
232 is pretty good. So currently have 232 properties that have been sold in the last 30 days or are pending. Looks like a lot of pending. Let's see here. Got 97 pending there. Let's look at some stats. Right. So this isn't going to, we don't have a comparison yet, but let's look here into pending. Average days on market is 39, or the median days on market is 39. Median list price, because they're looking at pending, is 325. You can expect probably a 2% negotiation there. Sold, we've got closed price 324, so pretty much the same, right? Pending kind of lags about 30 days behind the sold, so like we're pretty even on appreciation there. They're about the same. And actually, well, that makes sense. Sold days on market is lower than pending because we're deeper into the progression of this.
And I also kind of like to look at the this list to sold ratio. So yeah, that's where you came up with that little 2% negotiation right now.
Yep, there we go, right here. Like at that days, it might even be a hair more. It's going to be somewhere in there, like, but 2 to 3% negotiation. Let me pull that graph up real quick.
I got some fortunate rules.
Downloads.
I didn't beat him. I won.
Where did it go?
But I got a couple. We both got a couple.
Live, everybody, live.
Oh yeah, y'all. I this right here is happening on the fly. If y'all have questions too, as you're sitting on here, please go ahead and ask them. That's the most fun part about this. So let me get that pulled up.
James, let me know. I can't see him on my end.
Can't see what?
Questions.
Yeah, you can. If you look on the right side of your screen there and you go to comments in the top right, you can pull those up. Close.
I see.
All right. So I've got this ready here for when we go, but let's pull up. I think I want to go down. All right. Let's go back over here. I want to go a year ago.
Yep.
All right, so let's go 335 to 365.
Well, I don't think there's going to be anything pending that long ago.
Oh yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Let's just leave it there to see if it is. No, unfortunately not.
I've seen them last for a while, but not that long.
All right. So let me see what I can do here. I grab this. See if I can get this to kind of fit into our screen here.
So where are you guys going today?
I'm headed out. No, I'm headed out. Me and my brother are leaving tomorrow to head to Georgia, Blakely, Georgia.
It does not want to cooperate.
Yeah, there'd be a group of guys up there, but it just does come on.
It's behaving very strange. All right. So sold. We've got 324 was our current right now. And median from a year ago, 285.
I was going to ask you about that because you remember talking about it a month or two ago.
We're definitely way ahead of where we were just a year ago. I think do you think we need to pull like 90 days ago or 4 months ago?
Yeah, let's look at that. I'd say 4 months. That's really when it kind of started to slow down.
All right. So what, 120 to 150, you think?
I'm going to get the kids to get down there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Fried fish for dinner.
It's interesting how we've gone up. What's that? $40,000 in the last year on the average.
All
From
right.
324 to 285, or from 285 to 324.
There's still 2 pending from 5 months ago.
There must be issues, probate or something.
I don't know what's going on there, but looks like so smaller data, right? But we had a close price from that time that was a median close price of 337. We're at 324,990 now.
Yep.
But let's talk about some reasons behind that, right? So we're looking at median gross data. So like we don't have any kind of real like unifiers here. We have some that are cutting it down, but kind of makes sense on one aspect of if your purchase power gets hit, we should see more lower price homes that sell instead of the higher priced homes, right? So there's a bias here in this data I want to call out. But on a view there is a little depreciation.
There is a little bit. Looks like, yeah, so about 13, roughly from 195, the median sold per square foot compared to 190. I don't know, I can't see that on my screen.
195 to 189.9.
Yep. So a slight depreciation there, a slight come down from that from before.
How you like this? Went from your house goes up on the market, sells within 6 days 5 months ago. Today, 23 was, well, not today, because really, if we look at that, it's 39. So the one place I kind of want to shift this to is, has anybody asked you about the value of their home and how that translates? Has that happened at all recently? Like, is this going to affect the value of my home? Right.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen? If we wait a few months from now, is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Is it going to stay the same? And there's a lot of different things, a lot of variables that have to do with that. Once we come out of the holidays, I think that it's going to start heating up a little bit again. But until interest rate starts coming down, you're going to continue seeing a leveling off and maybe a slight dip, or at least that's what we're kind of seeing. But again, we don't have a crystal ball. If interest rates do happen to come down, I just see it starting to go back up again.
So the one thing I want to add in there, and this is really talking to everybody else, right? So if you're somebody who owns a home and you're looking at the market going up and down, the first question is there a real reason that you want to sell and move, right? Like, do we need another bedroom? Do you really want a pool? Do you want more land? Like, is there a real valid reason to do this? Because what I saw, and it was the last 2 years, is people had appreciated so much. Man, I just want to sell. I want to get this money. But when it comes to equity in your home, it's a little goofy, because what are you going to do next? And typically, if you own a home, we had a couple of RVers, but if you own a home, you're trying to go to the next home right away. And let's be real, if the market's high, you're going to sell at a height, and then you're going to buy at a height. If the market's neutral, sell, buy. If it's low, sell, buy, right? So when you have an asset that you've got to sell to buy, what's the only thing that you think that matters, Joel?
When you have an asset to sell to buy?
Yeah.
Go ahead, James.
So interest rates. right? When it comes to if you're trying to wait for some sort of advantage of when I should sell and buy, because let's be real, right? Doesn't matter where the market is, I'm gonna sell and I'm gonna buy, and the prices are gonna kind of correlate, right? I think anybody who's watching this has to agree. If you're gonna sell in a high market, you're gonna buy in a high market. If you're gonna neutral, blah blah blah. So the only difference is, what's my payment gonna be, right? And I'm sorry to tell y'all this, but that ship has sailed, and it may never come back. No crystal ball, don't know, but 2.7, we had 2.5, 2 point whatever. I don't know that I'll ever come back, because it's just a crazy, like, we think about it in the primary purchase side, but from an investor standpoint, you are literally lending money for free in essence. And there were a ton of people that made a lot of money over the last couple of years just borrowing for nothing. Like, I mean, 3% is non-existent interest, and I mean, it's still a lot of money, still interest.
Yeah.
But I think what we're looking at now is more realistic for interest rates long term. That'd be a good graphic to pull up.
Yeah, my mom just sold her house last year, and I think she had an interest rate of 9.9. And I've heard so many stories of interest rates in the nines, even higher than that. So we're not in a bad spot where we're at right now.
Let's see what I can pull up here. I'm trying to see if I can find, like, I feel like I could find a graph real quick here. Let's see. Historical chart. 30-year rate chart. Here we go. Present, share screen. Don't really know the rules here, so I'm going to give credit to the mortgagereports.com for letting me pull this up. So this is just 2022. I need a 30-year. So this isn't helping us yet. So interest rates over time last 30 years. Current rate trends, 30 years since 1971. I bet you Freddie's got this figured out. Yes. 2021, 15. Boy, they got to figure it out in a wonky chart, though, of course. So let me play with this again. All right. So giving credit to Freddie Mac. Thank you, Mr. Freddie, for putting this together for us. 2020. So this is looking at 2022, January 3.45. And doesn't have November quite yet. But we were at 6.9 in October. So let's just go down this column, right? Let's look at every few years. So 2017, some in the threes, fours. 2012, threes. 2007 was before the crash. Now we're into the sixes. 2002s, sevens. 1997, sevens, eights. 92, eights. 9, 10,
11.
Now we're in 82. We're 16, 17. Getting a little crazy. But what this is showing me is that where we're at, it's not super crazy. So what people have done in the past, what people have managed in the past. And I think it lends to the next place I want to take this is, of the people that have reservations, right, that we're working with, that are like, I'm waiting for the market to crash, waiting for interest rates. I'm willing to wait a year or 2 years, see what happens. Are the majority of these people renting?
Majority of them are renting, or they want to continue to rent. Let's wait another year. I'm going to renew my lease. Let's wait another year. Let's see for everything to shift. And there's having an educated, somebody that come and talk to you about an expert, talk about real estate and really educate you on what those differences are. Because if you wait a year, there's so many factors. One factor is how much money you're going to spend over that next year if you're renting. If you're renting at, let's say, $2,500 a month, you're looking at, what's that, $28,000 for the year that you've spent.
25, what is that? 10, 25,000, 30,000. 2,500 is 30,000.
Yeah, 30,000.
There you go. So over the course of 12 months, do you think you're going to see a 10% depreciation? Right? And then even if you saw a 10% depreciation, you still have paid into the house that you own and you own it, right? Like there's a lot of factors there where I think anybody's watching this, if you're renting, the equation that Joel just gave you is a question you have to ask yourself for your family, right? Is if that's your prerogative, you want to rent, you like, got a great property manager, they fix everything for you. And like, there's some advantages to renting, but if you are renting, you are paying 100% interest. Truth, right? I don't care what the interest
It's not something that you own. It's not something that you can pass on. It's not yours if you're renting.
That's it. I think that's big for renters, man, because I know so many people that are renting. And if you're watching this and you've rented, like, make yourself sick to where you make a decision on this. Like, how long have you been renting? How much did you pay in rent? You just pick a number that's in between all the numbers that you have. Go back the 6, 8, 10 years, right? So you've been renting for 10 years at $1,000 a month. That's $12,000. That's $120,000 that you have literally given away. Like there's, you could have put that towards something where you'd be very deep into a mortgage right now. And God, if you bought a house 10 years ago, you'd be sitting on $200,000-300,000 in equity.
One of the things about renting is interest rates are too high. So, let's talk about that. There's a lot of negotiation being able to go on right now. There's price reductions. Big is seller credits. What seller credits can do is it can get you down, your interest rate down, whether it be for 2 years, a year, or for the life of the loan. We can get those negotiated to get you more to a manageable interest rate. If you're one that believes interest rates are going to come down, more than probably 1%, doing a 1 year or a 2 year and refinancing when those interest rates do come down, let's get some seller credits. Let's get your interest rates down for the first couple of years and then refinance whenever that time comes that they're lowered again.
You're making me think of, I don't want to say his name or the builder. I got to catch myself here, but I just put a client under contract on a new construction home where he got $13,000 to $15,000 in seller credit. So this is like, let me eliminate your closing costs. Yep. And then they say, I'm going to give you a 5.25 rate. Huh? Wait, the rate's 6.7. That's a big difference. Where's my little tool here? Because I want to show people like what that means to them. So let's go over here.
Bring up that mortgage calculator.
Yeah, I want to see what that meant for him. So let's see, 439,990. I think he was putting 5% down. He's going to have that. At least we'll keep those things kind of the same. So let's put 6.7. Oh, I got to share it, huh?
Yeah. So aside from resales with seller credits, yes, new construction is also another great choice. Right now, builders are throwing money at people to buy their houses, buy down their interest rates, give them seller concessions or credits to make it almost no money out of pocket to get into their house.
Let's do this with 5%. Let's bring this down to 5.25. How much did they say?
So yeah, what was it at 6.7?
So 6.7, it was 3,150, and here $2,765. So that difference, what is that? 400, pretty much
per month.
Per month. So that interest rate saved him $4,800. Is that right? Am I crazy on the math there? I think that's right.
$4,800.
Are you kidding me? Like, okay, so being creative there, what Joel just broke down for you guys, and listen, we love you. We want to see y'all win. Like, if you got an agent and you need and you're wondering how some of these things work, we will tell you. We don't care if you come work with us. We just want to see you win. Yeah, like buying down the interest rate is something that you definitely should ask a lender about. How much does that cost is definitely something you want to ask the lender about. Can my agent negotiate the seller credit? Yes, they can. I don't care what they say. We have negotiated seller credit on almost every one of our deals this month. Very manageable to do because properties are sitting on the market a little longer and sellers have to go back to normal where there's some negotiation. You're not getting 120% for the house that you listed.
You imagine just, right now we have a lot of FHA buyers that are taking advantage. They're not getting beat out by cash. They're not getting beat out by conventional. They have a fight and they have a fighting chance these days. So I've seen some of the FHA buyers come back out a little bit again. And, typically they may not have as much closing cost money or, don't have as much money saved up for their house. I just recently had one under contract. They told me how much money they had. I said, okay, let's come up with a plan, a strategy. This is how much you have. This is roughly what it's going to cost you. Gave them a pretty good estimate of what it's going to cost them total. And I'm talking about from inspections to appraisal to survey to down payment to closing costs. We broke it all down, added it up, and said, okay, this is about what it's going to cost you. What's the difference? And, I'm not asking them because I want their financial information or anything like that. I need to know, like, where are you guys at on this? Do you think it's something that we can cover? No. Okay. So how far apart are we? Let's get that figured out. And let's get that, seller concessions to bring that price down to a manageable point. Boom. You could buy a house when you really didn't think you had the money to. Let's have a real conversation and let's see if there is that option for you.
Man, like we really should. My only concern about doing it is would people show up, but like we should do a buyer class and like just test it out there at the office. Like we get, one of our partners to sponsor some food. We go in there and we really talk about this stuff in detail, right? Like one of the questions that we need to know for anybody we're working with is how much do you have, right? Is the goal to buy this house with 15,000, 20,000? I've had people, I don't want to name them, but I had somebody who came to me with $4,000 in their pocket, wanted to buy a house. We can figure it out. I mean, I'll tell you that we've had clients that have literally bought a house for $0 out of pocket. Is it easy?
No.
Is it fun? No. But again, we're here to serve our clients and we're here to help you guys get to where you want to go. For those clients that want to accomplish something like that, I can tell you for sure, you're going to follow the process. Otherwise, you're going to get us because it is too hard. But if they follow the process, it makes it a little easier.
Yeah. As long as, they trust us and they know that we're looking out in their best interest. We do get pushback from time to time, but you know what? It's, part of the game, especially since you're buying something that's typically, $250,000 or something that's your highest, the most expensive thing you're ever going to buy. There's going to be some nerves there.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We educate and calm their nerves and let them know that we're here for them and what's their best goal. And, hopefully they confide in us, or usually they do. And we'll come up with a strategy and just make it happen for them. That's the best feeling in the world.
Man, I think we've gone like kind of deep here. So we've seen a drastic reduction in appreciation is something that we can say for sure, right? Like the data is so new that we really can't say if we're depreciating or where we're going. And I think this month's data, next month's data are really going to be kind of telling of where we're going. Interest rates we've covered. I mean, where else do you want to go with this? You want to talk about our favorite foods?
Yeah, the Wesley Chapel, the Grove. I like this little Mexican restaurant over there.
You like
really good carnitas.
No way. You like it? No, I can't believe you like it.
Tacos. If I could have tacos all day long, but that's why I'm on a diet, because I'll stuff myself full of them.
Man, so we go out to Cabo, and this is just a fun story for anybody. So we go out to Cabo, first place we eat, little taco stand. We walk in there and we order tacos and we get the hot sauces, right? So Joel, like when you go to a Mexican joint, there's two different ways this can go, right? They can say it's hot and they're kind of giving you the gringo treatment. So it's really not that hot, right? But like they're telling you it's hot just to, break you in. Then you go into the real places where you're like, this is our hot salsa. And you ask them, is it hot? Oh, no.
A little bit.
So I said, Joel, like, how's the hot salsa? Oh, it's okay. Yeah, you'll be all right. Go into my taco. So I got to be very careful of which Mexican restaurants I go to Joel with, and we got to work on our barometer and communication of hot. Okay.
You're eating fire, and you're like, it's okay.
Oh man. So let's talk about this, right? So let's say someone's watching this and they've got these concerns, and maybe this helped them get a little bit of clarity. They want to get out of renting. They want to do, where do you think that they really should start? Like, do you think they should start doing a little research on their own? Should they reach out to a local lender? Should they reach out to a realtor to find them a lender? What do you think are the right directions they should go?
So for me, reaching out to a local expert, a real estate agent, or you could do it also with a lender. You really could do both. But when you connect with a real estate agent, they typically may have somebody that they work one-on-one with as far as a lender, or preferred list of lenders that they work with that know that it'll get you the job done. They'll get you to that closing table, typically a lot faster. They're local, so it carries a little more weight, and get them connected with you. But really, that's kind of like step one. I don't want to go out and start showing you houses, have you fall in love with a house, and then find out, sorry, it's not going to work out. First step for me with any client that I bring in is consultation, connect with a lender. Let's figure out a strategy, how to get you there, find out how much you're qualified for, and then we can start looking, so we know ahead of time what we're looking for, how much we have to spend, how much we need in start credits. It just makes the whole process so much easier.
I like it. I mean, it's I totally get the idea of like trying to figure this out, right? Like I am a figure it outer. Like I want to figure out how to do this. But let's be real. You're, talking to them, like you're about to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, and how you spend that will be directly related to your lender and your real estate agent. So when you're looking for a real estate agent, like do a little homework. Like what's their presence on Google? What's their presence on Facebook? Check out some of their videos if they have them, and see if you jive with their personality a little bit. I would say, me personally, if I'm about to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, I would love to have a guide that has done it hundreds of times, instead of having myself trying to pursue this and figure out the steps and everything. Because I mean, you've heard this story plenty of times, right? You get on the phone with somebody, you kind of help them through something. You're like, man, Joel, like you just, in 5 minutes, you just solved all the problems I've been worrying about for 6 months. I mean, that happens all the time, just because we overcomplicate things. And so this happened, true story. Real estate agent, I start showing houses to Mom and Jen, right? Cool. We go in, we got to do the bathroom, we got to do the kitchen. So I mean, I'm not making fun of them. Like this is normal for all buyers, right? But it's a little bit annoying when it's your family. So we're looking at really nice houses. I got to tear the whole kitchen out. Okay, that's $100,000. Let's get out of here, right? Like, so this happened enough times. I was like, no, I cannot do this anymore. You guys will we can hire another real estate agent that will represent us, that will help us through this whole thing. And here's why, though. I am emotionally charged in the situation. So if I'm emotionally charged in the situation, I'm less likely to make the best decisions. I need somebody else to do that. And that's what a real estate agent does. You are emotionally invested. Unless you are an investor and you are not looking to live there, you don't care what it's like, you're just trying to make some money, cool. There's not much emotion involved there. Do the numbers make sense? But if you're going to live there, it's emotional. Like, you really don't want a bodyguard, someone who's done this hundreds of times, standing there fighting for you. And I don't even care if it's me. I don't care if it's Joel. Joel don't care if it's him. Find someone that works for you, because golly, one, you can take it out the back burner and get it done. Two, you're actually going to get to where you want to go without burning your hands in the process a few times, learning what to do.
Absolutely. We get that all the time.
Awesome.
They didn't know what was going on, and all of a sudden they got burnt, and I didn't know I was going to lose this money, that money. Well, we try to protect you as much as possible. And there are a lot of great realtors out there. Pick somebody interview a few of them, pick somebody that you connect with, that you can trust, and, just follow their process, and they'll guide you to the right place.
Love it, man. Guys, I mean, it looks like we've dropped down to where I think we've got one on here. If anybody has any questions, drop them right here. Even if it's after this video is live, like we get alerted for the comments. So like we can come back there, respond to comments, reach out. If you want to reach out to either one of us, our social profiles are tagged on these. You can reach out to Joel in Messenger, me in Messenger. All of our contact information is on all those pages. We'd love to serve and help you. But even if it's something that we can't really help with and you have a curious question, this is what we do all the time, 24/7. And it's what we love to do, is helping people get to where they go. Anything you want to leave them on, Joel?
Yeah, we're here for building lifelong relationships, making friends, being advisors. We want to guide you in the right direction, whether that's buying, selling. If it's not the right fit or not the right time, we have another solution for you, refinance, cash out, anything we can do. Advice on, some of our vendor partners, if you need a handyman, we can, we'll find you somebody. It doesn't have to be real estate, directly, but yeah, we're not just about buying or selling. We're here to advise and help you out.
I love it, man. Awesome. Everybody have a great day. Stay blessed. And until next time.